This meeting is now called to order. Roll call, please.
Vice President Payne,
Here.
Director Tripp,
Here.
Director Waldrop,
Here.
President Shandy.
Here. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Director Tripp.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to welcome everyone to the board meeting tonight, and I apologize for my voice that you have to bear through with me tonight. So welcome to our board meeting of education this evening. Due to the weather, our spotlight has been rescheduled. Mrs. Ruckman, are there any updates to the agenda?
There were updates to the agenda and the board has been made aware of these.
Members of the board, are there any items you wish to move from the consent agenda? Are there any discussion items to be added to the agenda? May we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I make the motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Payne,
Aye.
Director Tripp,
Aye.
Director Waldrop,
Aye.
President Shandy.
Aye. Does anyone have anything to share from board comments tonight? Colonel Herndon.
Happy New Year, everybody. From USAFA, I just wanted to state that Air Academy submitted their application for the Purple Star Award. And this is the second year that this award has been available to schools in Colorado, and the Purple Star designation is a governor-appointed award for schools that show that they go above and beyond for their military-connected students. A few of the requirements that I just want to highlight for everybody so you are up to speed on the significance of the award. It's about maintaining a student-led transition program for those military-connected students, celebrating our military month of the military child and Veterans Day, and supporting projects that connect the school to the military community. I think it's important that when we celebrate our military-connected students, we honor not only their achievements, but also the sacrifices their families make and the stability, empathy, and support that they deserve from our schools. So hats off to the Team Air Academy and Dr. Rippinger and all the things that are happening there. And just wanted to highlight that for the board. It's fantastic. We'll see what happens with the actual announcement for the award, but we're really excited about this development.
Thank you so much, Colonel Herndon. Director Tripp.
Oh, good. I am still on. Happy New Year, everybody. My brain loves a good metaphor. And I have to say, I woke up today thinking a lot about furniture because I find ourselves in leadership really surrounded by furniture metaphors. We have a board of education. We have Ginger's cabinet. We even are going to be hearing a little bit later today from DAC, who in many ways operates as a supporting leg for the board being another word for a table. And so why do we have these terms that surround leadership, these furniture terms, you know? I think it's because furniture in our lives is meant to bring us stability and structure. And when we think about the Board of Education, think about a table that holds weight, that serves so many functions that we really rely on, but that really has a simple and clear purpose. When we think about a cabinet that has capability and a lot of parts, right, where a lot of things feed into it. When we think about legs and needing more than one to support a table. The reason this came to mind, I think, today is because we have some departing cabinet members, right, that we need to fill. We have a brand new board, and we are, in essence, sitting in an office space, kicking the furniture and opening cupboards and trying to figure out what it means to be a board and what our role is. And I think, and then we have, you know, Dak, who is really supposed to be supporting the board in our efforts to do a good job, and being a voice into the community as well, connecting us to our very important and valued community. I am really looking forward to seeing how all of these pieces of structure work together and how we can bring stability to this district and bring strength to this district through these different roles within this whole unit, this whole process. And I would just ask for an intentionality from all of these various stakeholders, all of these furniture members, to bring your best selves and and to bring integrity to this. Whether you're a parent, whether you're an admin, whether, you know, us on the board, let's make sure we're bringing our integrity, we're bringing strength, and we're keeping our focus where it needs to be on our students, on their abilities, on their capabilities, and on their outcomes. And so that's my little furniture lecture. And maybe you can go forward and extend the metaphor until it begins to fall apart in your own world. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Tripp. I want to take a moment to just say a couple of things. I want to publicly address the absence of our fellow board member, Derek Wilburn. I appreciate his continued dedication to the board and want to express he is excused for this absence today. As some may know, his family has recently experienced an incredible loss. Our hearts are with him. Our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family as he takes the time he needs to mourn and recover. So as members of this board, we are all humans, and we just need to take the time to support him in doing that. So thank you.
Oh, I don't know if you want me to, well, you point to me, but today was a really nice time for us to share in the celebration of life for his wife. And it is a reminder when you ever sit through a slideshow is that we all do have personal lives and people we love spending time with, and we sacrifice them to be here. And I just want to, it just is a reminder to be grateful to people that do serve in this role of public education. And it really made us all feel very grateful. It was very, very special. So we are so sorry for what he's going through, and that empty chair is like our empty wingman. And luckily Derek is coming back here, but the loss of his wife has had a tremendous impact, and their family was so strong. And I just have to add, seeing his son, who's a pilot, and his wife, she said something very lighthearted that I'm like a chemical, what's that stuff that we should be afraid of? I think anyway, she's like some really specialty missile operator with, it was really just their service to our community and our nation is so important. So anyway, thank you, Amy.
Thank you for covering for me. I will try to pull myself together. Okay, so during the study session, we had a great engagement leadership conversation around legal services and support. We just discussed the roles of a request of information that I had made surrounding local legal services to support our district and our leadership. Both firms that submitted responses to the RFI provided hourly rates, but also bulk rates for a number of hours per week. So we felt that as an appropriate direction for the superintendent to pursue to ensure staff had legal resources to consult without needing to worry and running up a bill, so to speak. So ultimately, we all thought the proposal from Miller Farmer Law was favorable to the district, but I just appreciate the work that Ms. Allen has done, that the legal team did to put together that report, and Superintendent Haber for following through on the requests that I made. I appreciate that. So I just wanted to bring that forth from our study session into our official board meeting. All right, does anybody else have any, Director Walter?
Yeah, just that was nice to be at that celebration of life. It's a reminder about the full circle of life too. And I think this morning I got to visit for the first time one of the schools here in the district with the superintendent. Was absolutely wonderful. It was Legacy Peak. And it was so nice seeing the kindergartners and the kids in there and all the great work that the teachers are doing. The principal's done really great things there as well. And so kind of brings that full circle, I think, to see the joy and the opportunities for the kids, why we kind of are here, and to see the full circle is just tremendous today. So thanks again for setting it up. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you so much. All right, Superintendent Haberer, I think you have some superintendent comments.
I do. So we have the superintendent update. If we could pull that up, would be great. I just also want to say it was such a privilege to be there with Derek and his family and all of us together. It felt like we were really a good team for each other. And I miss Derek being here tonight, and we'll just continue to reach out to him. This is also a Board Appreciation Month in January, and I just want you to know I appreciate each of you, and I'm very excited about what we're going to accomplish together moving forward. So we did put something together for you. I don't have the clicker to move forward. There we go. You can go ahead and push that one if you want. This is a thank you.
District 20,
Wait, put a
Team
pause
1.
on it, please, and let's get
Ginger
the,
Haber,
put it back and let's get the sound up, please. Okay. Go ahead, yeah.
District 20, Team 1.
Can you turn it
I'm
up,
Ginger
please?
Haber, your superintendent, and I want to take a moment to recognize a very special group of people, the Academy District 20 Board of Education, past and present. These dedicated individuals are volunteers who give back countless hours to ensure our students have the best opportunities to learn and grow. They help guide the district's vision, ensuring all students will have the knowledge, skills, and character necessary for successful transition to the next level, and upon graduation will be fully prepared for success. Beyond the boardroom, they represent our community as we visit schools, meet with students and staff, and see firsthand the incredible work happening every day. Their leadership helps guide our district, creating a successful space for every child. On behalf of Team 1, thank you for your commitment, your vision, and your service. We appreciate everything you do for our schools, staff, and community. Happy School Board Appreciation Month.
So again, thank you. I know you put in so many hours and it is volunteer work, but very focused, important work. And I know each of you have a heart of gold for our students, and we're all working together to ensure that every student succeeds. So just I'm excited about our team. So moving forward, I was at Foothills Elementary School, or excuse me, this is a app that was put together by a Foothills Elementary School student. Am I going to get a clicker, or are you guys just going to do it? Okay, I'll just do this then so we can go quick. So we're not going to show this video because it's kind of long, but I just wanted, a parent reached out and I was excited about this and want to make sure we highlighted it. And they were going to come, but with the weather, weren't able to come. But we do, I don't think they are our Foothills students here. I don't think they were able to make it. They've created a child-friendly AI app that helps students reflect on emotions through language analysis. Third grader Alexander Rushing and first grader Melissa Rushing, and together with their mom, who's the senior master sergeant, Bonnie Rushing, they created a Flight or Delight that helps students with emotional awareness and positive communication. They also recently submitted their app to the Presidential AI Challenge, which is cool. Alexander and Melissa are especially excited about inspiring other students to see themselves as technology creators. Thank you. And not just technology users. And that's such an important part of AI, is being a creator and not just being a consumer. So I was excited to see that. Holly and I had a wonderful opportunity to go to Grace and St. Stephen's Church to hear the Liberty Choir concert. And it was just beautiful, wasn't it, Holly? And the acoustics, It's just so much fun, and just a huge kudos to choir teacher, Mr. Chase Doet. It was very obvious that he has an amazing relationship with his students, and it was just really a delight to attend that concert. Chinook Trail Middle School had a math carnival, which was really fun. And Director Tripp, I think you were able to go to that too. And that's 7th grade math teacher Michael Wagner reached out and invited us to come. And I just thought this was a really great way for students to learn about probability first, and then to apply, what they know to. They each created their own probability apparatus, and they were able to talk about it too, which was really great. Director Tripp, anything you would add to that?
I think it was really fun to see teachers working with the students to help them process what their creation told them about the math and about probability.
Yeah.
So seeing teachers working with that, I think was just great. We have a lot of great teachers. I was able to go to several schools with Superintendent Haber last month, and we have some really terrific teachers. It was a delight to interact with them.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. So we do have fun here at the EAC, and creating positive culture is very important for us. So we did celebrate in the last cabinet meeting before break. And then we also every year have a huge EAC celebration. Love all the different ugly sweaters, as you can see. We always have that contest. I think there was a gingerbread contest, and it was a lot of fun. And so it's really important for us. We do something at Halloween or for Fall Festival. We try to get together and celebrate across the EAC as many times as we're able to. So we have an amazing special education program, and as you guys know, we had our Bridges graduation. And again, a congratulations to Philip Lucero, Joseph Charleman, Everly Smith, Austin Ortiz, and Aiden D. Lauder. It was so fun to be able to be with them and their families. Again, they graduated from the Bridges program, which supports students as they transition from school to the adult world. They have individualized services, connect students and parents to supports and opportunities that really promote that self-advocacy and independence. And then through their individualized instruction and hands-on experiences, especially those community partnerships. So we love our community and appreciate how much they invest in our schools. It really helps them with their essential life skills and to truly go forth and be independent. So as you know, we're very much tying the activities that we do as a district to our strategic plan. And the strategic plan is obviously the means to meeting the ends, which are our board ends, which is the board vision. So these are all the different schools that I was able to go to, many of them with Holly, which was fun to just kind of do a blitz and get as many in a couple days as we could, so that her schools could get to know her, and we had some great insights into what students were learning. So for example, at the Da Vinci Academy, Principal Sheehan Friedman Todd, we went to different classrooms, and I love the geometric designs there. They learned all about fractions. And so then they put together some different designs, and then off on the right, they had to demonstrate the math that went along with those patterns. So I thought that was really impressive. So many good things going on at Da Vinci. Again, we had lots of different visits, Director Tripp and myself. So fun at Ranch Creek. They do, where they shut the lights off and it's bowling, like those bowling alleys that you have. So kids, what is that called? I don't know. There's a name for it. Glow bowling. Yes, the kids just loved it. And then over on the lower left, we had some IB students because and this was at Academy International Elementary. No, this was at Ranch Creek as well. They talked about AI, and we had to decide what was a real photograph and what was an AI one. And there were a couple that were kind of tricky in there. But it was just a joy to visit these different schools. And then up in the right-hand corner, they had a little box where students could feed them socks for a sock drive for our rescue mission. Director Tripp and I also had a chance to go to the Holly and Ivy celebration, and we had a chance to meet our amazing superintendent, Superintendent Lieutenant General Tony Barenfein and his wife Tricia, and that was amazing. We just all have to go to that Holly and Ivy, and I got to see Colonel Herndon. That I was just blown away. That was so amazing. Like, we just need everybody to go to that. So we'll leave it up at more as far as the publicity around that for next year. Anything
You'll hype it.
We'll hype it.
You'll hype it.
Hype it, up it, whatever we need to do to make sure people know about it. It's free. And so for our community, if anybody next year needs something that's really uplifting to go to, it was truly amazing. I think my favorite part was when Santa walked by the general and he stopped and saluted. I mean, that was awesome. That was really awesome. And then we had CASB, which was such a great opportunity for us to learn together. And we had several students from our the superintendent student advisory group, and they loved it because they had a chance to interact with other students from other schools. And they were going to be here tonight to share about their experiences. But with the snow, they said they'd love to come back in February instead. But they are just super excited. They're already sharing ideas with me about things that they want to do. So we'll even change up some of the format of the student advisory group based on their feedback that we had at this conference. And then certainly we need to celebrate our bond projects, right? So in November 2016, District 20 voters approved a $230 million bond measure to complete facility and infrastructure projects across the district. And I'm so proud to share that all of the 2016 bond projects have been completed. And as a result of bond premium and interest income, the district completed more projects than those originally included in the bond language. This is really an incredible accomplishment, especially given supply chain and other challenges experienced during the pandemic. Like, that's a huge celebration, right? My congratulations and gratitude would certainly go to our D20 voters who approved the 2016 bond measure, the board members, staff, and community members who have served on the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee. They truly do a great job of overseeing how bond monies are spent and the different projects that those monies go to. And certainly a building fund staff member who we have Chris Garnhart, who's the executive director for the building fund, and every building fund staff member who supported this work since 2016. A huge thank you to our business partners in the community who've helped make these projects a reality. So now we have a video that highlights the project completed with the 2016 bond projects. It's 10 minutes long, so we're only going to watch about 2 minutes of it, but just encourage you to go and watch the entire video, and it will be posted to publicly so people can go in and watch the entire video. Do you want to go ahead and start that one for me, please? And then you can go ahead and turn it off at about 2 minutes. You can see so many of our new schools and so many different improvements as a result of that bond. So again, it's really inspiring to reflect on all that we were able to accomplish with that 2016 bond. And thank you again to our board, to our voters, to Deputy Superintendent Becky Allen and her amazing team for their fiscal stewardship and project management to be able to accomplish so much with these bond dollars. And so it's true, great happens here in D20. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you very much. Tonight we have two new administrators to approve. Mr. Smart, would you like to make those introductions?
Yeah, I think I just broke the mic, but okay. First of all, college football playoff semifinals starting tonight. No score yet, hasn't started. Getting ready to kick off pretty soon. So
Thank you very much. You know,
just in
you're
case you wanted to
responsible
know.
for that
Yeah.
update.
I'll let you know. All right. First, I'd like to introduce Renee Roth, who is being recommended as the interim principal at Mountain Ridge Middle School. Renee is joined this evening by her husband, Steve. Thanks for being here, Steve. Renee holds a Bachelor's of Arts in English with an emphasis in secondary education and Master of Arts in Educational Media, both from the University of Northern Colorado, which when I graduated from the University of Wyoming, go Pokes, I went there for a job fair and I got a job. So there you go. Started off my career there. Not there, but that's where I got my job. Renee began her career in Greeley as a high school language arts teacher and then moved to D11 and again taught high school language arts. Then moved to District 49 as a library media specialist and then to Westminster as a high school English teacher and a middle school principal, and then came to D20 Mountain Ridge Middle School. It was the 7th and 8th grade language arts and literature teacher. And she's currently served as the, well, she was the assistant principal, has been serving as the interim principal while we had as a temporary role. And now that's why we're bringing her here now, because she's going to be officially in that role for the rest of the school year. So we're recommending her tonight for the interim principal for Mountain Ridge Middle School, although she's been doing it for a period of time here. Anything you'd like to say, Renee? I don't think so. Just lean in. Wait, hang on, stand by. Technical difficulties. I think it's the snow. No, you gotta wait. Any update on the snow? Anybody forecast? Oh, it's snowing. I'll just tell you that. It's getting colder. Oh, boy.
All right, we good? Awesome.
Okay.
All right. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you, Superintendent Haber and all the board members for allowing me to continue in this position for the remainder of the school year. I have been honored to be at Mountain Ridge for the last 5 years in various roles from teaching. I actually got to be with Zoe Waldrop as a teacher way back when I got to start at Mountain Ridge. So that was fun. And then moved into the AP position and then the interim position this year. It's a special place and I'm honored to work with the students and staff there. We have great plans moving forward. And so it's fun to get to build off of the traditions that are already out Mountain Ridge and continue to think about how we're going to push to the next level with our students and our staff. So thank you for allowing me to continue the rest of the year.
All right, next I'd like to introduce Stephanie Vickery, who is being recommended as the interim principal for Pioneer Elementary School. Stephanie is joined this evening by her husband, Randy. Thanks, Randy, for being here. Now, Stephanie is from Texas, so I want to just let you know, I like to always educate when I can, right? Since, it's a school district. Now, they have a little bit of different lingo in Texas, so I wanted to help you understand. If you hear Stephanie use these terms, you'll know what she means, okay? So like y'all and all y'all, mean you all and all of you. Fixin' to means she's getting ready to do something. Reckon means she's thinking about something. Over yonder is over there. And if she says, let's see, tougher than a $2 steak, that means she's very resilient. And the last one is if she says, not my barn, not my cattle, means mind your own business. So if you hear that, you'll kind of have an idea what she's saying. So let me go into her education and career. She has a Bachelor's of Arts in Economics from the University of Texas at Arlington, and they are Texas Longhorn fans, and that's a little disappointing because I'm a Sooner fan, so we'll get through it. She has a Master's of Education from Arlington State University in Texas. She began her career in Arlington Crowley Independent School District as an elementary school classroom teacher. Then she went to Crowley Independent School District. Did they like combine or something? Is that two different districts? Oh my goodness. It's a big state. She was a high school assistant principal, elementary school principal, middle school principal. She decided I'm just going to do all the levels just to make sure I know how all this, how it works. And then she went back, became a high school principal again. Then she was the director of social and emotional learning. She was an executive director of professional development and social emotional learning. Then she moved to Lake Travis Independent School District in Austin, Texas, where the University of Texas is, and was a senior executive director of curriculum and instruction. And so that was her last job before she came to Academy District 20, where we're pleased to recommend her tonight for the interim principal at Pioneer Elementary School. Anything you'd like to say tonight? Oh, she's coming up. Okay. That's where you're going to get to hear some of those terms maybe.
Hi, y'all. Thank you, Superintendent and School Board. I have just moved here over the winter break and have been welcomed warmly by all of District Academy 20 or Academy District 20, and also the school community of Pioneer, the families and the educators and the children. I have had the opportunity to see all of the classrooms at Pioneer, and they are just operating at such a high level, very focused on student success. So I'm very thankful and grateful to have the opportunity to serve as the interim principal at Pioneer for this semester. So thank you, thank you. I greatly appreciate it.
I'm not trying to influence anything, but she says she's hoping for a snow day tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but just saying. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to our consent agenda. With the following change to item O, the superintendent's contract, I will read the change. Should the superintendent choose to unilaterally terminate this agreement effective June 30th of any academic year, a mutual agreement between the board and the superintendent will be developed regarding a potential transition time following June 30th of any academic year. So with that change to item O of consent agenda, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda. Oh, that was easier said.
So I think I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Payne,
Aye.
Director Tripp,
Aye.
Director Waldrop,
Aye.
President Shandy.
Aye. There are 37 people following the live stream. I don't think we need a break, do we? We started late. A 5-minute break? Okay, 5-minute break. 5-minute break. All right, thank you so much. It's always incredibly inspiring to begin our meeting by celebrating the hard work and achievements of our D20 students, faculty, and staff. Now we transition into the business portion of our meeting, a time for thoughtful discussion and decision-making. Out of respect for this focus, we ask that applause be held during this part of the session as we focus our attention to the important work ahead. Thank you so much. There are no items pulled from the consent agenda. Written reports, first semester 2026, 2025, 2026 expulsion reports. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Okay. Annual monitoring report for governance policy, process policy 4.6, board officers' roles. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Okay, I will read the questions. Is there sufficient evidence to determine compliance for each section? Are all sections in compliance? Recognition of exemplary performance or concerns regarding performance. Would you like to see any additional different evidence, or should any part of this policy be changed in the next monitoring report cycle? Do you see any evidence which is extraneous or no longer necessary? Okay. Annual monitoring report for governance process policy 4.10, code of conduct. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Is there sufficient evidence to determine compliance for each section? Are all sections in compliance? Recognition of exemplary performance or concerns regarding performance. Would you like to see any additional different evidence, or should any part of this policy be changed in the next monitoring report cycle? Do you see any evidence which is extraneous or no longer necessary? Annual monitoring report for governance process policy 4.11, board member conflict of interest. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Is there sufficient evidence to determine compliance for each section? Are all sections in compliance? Recognition of exemplary performance or concerns regarding performance. Would you like to see any additional different evidence, or should any part of this policy be changed in the next monitoring report cycle? Do you see any evidence which is extraneous or no longer necessary? Okay. Annual monitoring report for governance process policy 4.12, process for addressing board member violations. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Is there sufficient evidence to determine compliance for each section? Are all sections in compliance? Recognition of exemplary performance or concerns regarding performance. Would you like to see any additional different evidence, or should any part of this policy be changed in the next monitoring report cycle? Do you see any evidence which is extraneous or no longer necessary? Administrative policy updates for the month of December 2025. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Presentations, District Accountability Committee, review of site plans and Unified Improvement Plan. Superintendent Haberer.
That Jolynn Patterson and Dr. Susan Field are going to do that presentation for us.
Good evening again. So Jolynn and I are here to share with you our recent DAC review of UIPs and site plans. And I'm just going to do a little quick teachable moment here. So UIPs stand for Unified Improvement Plan. It's a required document or required plan based off of CMAS data that occurs yearly. And so that is one part of our 4-part accreditation process. The site plan is another part of our accreditation process in District 20. All schools do site planning, and they do it on about a 3 to 4 year rotation. And at some other time, I can go into more details about that. The third part is an external review, and that's on a 3-year rotation as well. And every 3 years, we do an external review in a school, and the principal gets to ask a question. They put together a team of outside folks who come in with a fresh set of eyes and answer the question. And I get to share that report with you next month in February. And then finally, the last part of our accreditation process are the absolutes. And that is all of the Colorado state laws and a wide variety of different policies. Like for an example, one of the absolutes is that all schools have a safety plan. So and it's a 5-page document. And by the end of May, we have the principal and the SAC parent chair, which the SAC is the School Accountability Committee, sign off on that document. So so when we're talking about today's presentation, this is about the UIP and the site plan because they're both planning documents. And I will say that the UIP, like I said earlier, is a response to CMAS data, which is summative data that happens once a year. And so schools look at trends and they write major improvement strategies. A site plan will include a lot of that work, but is more of a holistic approach to what's going on in the school. So you will see a site plan, it's very aligned to the strategic plan. And so we'll have different schools focusing on different areas. And so that's what we're going to share with you tonight. Okay, so we'll jump right in. And this is just a reminder for you all that the DAC charge from the Board of Education, what we're looking at is number 6, the annual review for each school, including site plan and UIP. And Jolene's going to talk just in a minute about what that process looks like. There are 11 total charges, and I won't read them to you, but you can see them here on your screen. Okay, go ahead, Jolene.
So we have 2 subcommittees that support this process. We have the accreditation team, and then we have the budget priority team that Mrs. Allen leads. And so tonight we're going to focus on the accreditation piece. Mrs. Allen will be leading her process in February with her group of people, and we meet throughout the year, which in a minute I will share the dates with you. So this first slide looks at the members that participate on the subcommittee. So the way Jolene thinks about it is we have Big DAC, where all of our stakeholders and everyone comes, and then we have Little DAC, which is the accreditation subcommittee and the budget priorities subcommittee. The subcommittee's role is to review, as Dr. Field said, the site plans and the school UIPs. That information is shared in board docs, so that was available if you go to the DAC meetings from November. All of those plans are shared there, so if anyone wanted to go back and reference one, you would be able to do so. This includes small groups that review the feeder strands. So we put them in feeder strands so that similar schools and similar feeders are paired together for those reviews. We provide feedback in a report to principals. So that's one of the pieces that our principals anticipate, and they look forward to receiving that information that ensures that there is alignment between their UIP and their site plan. And then we are preparing right now, we already have a handbook that's in place, but we go through a process to update that and ensure that it's up to date and complete for the following school year. So we are in the process of looking at that right now.
And that also comes to the board for you all to look at. And what's great about that handbook is that it has the cycle of who's up for site planning and who's up for external review in the back. So you can look at the history of when's the last time they had one of those.
It's very comprehensive.
Yeah.
We are now looking at some of the other pieces. So the first line of items is the times that we met. So because this process happens in November, we were able to meet 3 times prior to that, to this process. We have 7 groups that are divided into feeder strands that we talked about, and they're facilitated by a director from Learning Services. The subcommittee met on December 2nd. So this committee got together after this process, and we asked the parents and the community members that serve what worked well, what changes might we want to make as we look forward to doing this process again next year. So it's an opportunity to review the process and provide feedback. And then, as we just shared, the subcommittee will review that handbook, and we will have that shared with you. I believe March will be bringing that to you. And then what the principals look for is these questions. So the principals first respond to the following questions. So the team has this in writing, as well as each principal comes and sits in front of their team and verbally shares information as well. So it's kind of nice if you're someone like me, I appreciate the visual information as well as the opportunity to talk and share and ask questions. And so those questions are posted here on this slide. Again, it ties to all of those other processes that we're working on within the district. And then in addition to those that the principals are responding to, the committee has questions that they're researching and thinking about. So what are reoccurring themes? Is there a theme that we see happening at a school? Is there a concept or an idea that emerged from the review? And then are there accommodations, things that we want to say, great job, keep doing that. We really like this. And what's nice is often these parents have served multiple years or their children have attended a school for multiple years. So for them, there's a lot of affirmation in the process too, where they're able to offer those accommodations like this is really happening in the buildings every day. It's not just the principal saying it. And then they also make recommendations and they provide challenge and stretch thinking. And so a lot of times some of the feedback is something that the principal would want to look into and consider implementing in the future. And I can tell you that that has happened in the past.
So the next slide is kind of the reflection on the process. So this is something we're always working on just to make it better and make it easy for parents to understand, because there's a lot of lingo, as you can imagine, educationese that's written in these UIPs, the site plans, the external reviews. We always do a fun little acronym quiz at the beginning of DAC, not every DAC, but the first DAC, just to see what people know. And we have a lot of acronyms. I think we're tied with the military. But anyways, we try to make this process. It used to be several years ago that it was just a paper review. So teams would sit down and we would look at the paper, like the site plan and the UIP, and we would talk about it, and then we would write up a report. But we changed it about 4 years ago, and we just have principals come in now because it's so much more meaningful. The parents love it. They can ask questions. We still spend time looking at the site plans and the UIPs, but it just became more meaningful. So just so you know, our principals are so prepared. Jolynn and I are like, you only have 15 minutes. And then you need to leave 5 minutes for questions, and then we have a 15-minute debrief. So one of the directors in learning services now, we used to have parents be the facilitators, but it was a lot. And the people who were facilitators really didn't get to listen and participate because they were like, what'd they say? And they were trying to write down everything the principal was saying. So this year we had all the learning services directors facilitate, and they do a 15-minute debrief. And during that debrief, the facilitator works on this report. I left at your tables for all of you just samples of what the principal receives. And it's a couple weeks afterwards. I left you a sample from the high school level. I gave you Air Academy. I thought Village Middle School might be interesting as a non-traditional school. And then I left you Ranch Creek Elementary School. And so the principals come in and share this information, and our parents leave very thoughtful, ask very thoughtful questions. As you can see, some of the recommendations, the stretch thinking, all of that is excellent. Parents just love hearing from their principals. And I think the other great thing that we've done is we group them by their feeder strand. So the elementary parents love hearing about the middle school and the high school so that they know about what's coming. And that's been a great thing. We also, like Jolynn said, give these 4 questions out to the principals ahead of time, and the principal will respond to all the questions, and then it becomes a handout. And we actually give the handout the week before or so, right, Cheryl? Yep. And it's in for the team so that parents can actually read them and be prepared and ask questions if they want to. And then, of course, we always report there's never enough time. But just know on that day, we go to 1 o'clock. So we have our DAC here in November from 9 a.m. to 1 o'clock. And these people are committed, and we do feed them lunch. So
they really like the orzo salad.
I know. So some of the recurring themes this year, are definitely, you can see and feel the focus on PLCs or professional learning communities. We've seen a lot of 15-day challenge work, and everybody seems to be working on common formative assessment creation. You'll also see a lot about the use of student data to drive instruction and just tier 1 instruction. They all seem to talk about their interventions, their extension times, and then just time in their schedules and what that's looking like. One of the big focus areas is identifying, by name and by need. So a student by name and by need, what their need is. And our schools are getting better and better at drilling down and identifying what is the most important or the most appropriate intervention for students. We see a lot of standards alignment and feeder strand work. And we had a lot of feedback from parents about that it's great that feeder strands are doing work, whether it's alignment with standards or talking about instruction or coming up talking about students that have IEPs transitioning to the next level. So you'll see some feedback there. We see and hear a lot about character and what they're doing because that's one of the questions that we ask them. Partnering with parents is very important to all of our principals and their schools. And so they give suggestions. You'll see in some of the comments. And then finally, there's always a focus on student involvement, student leadership, working on creating cultures where everybody wants to come to school. We have a lot of our secondary schools and our elementaries, quite frankly, focused on engaging students in after school activities or in sports or in music, something, just that whole idea around culture of connectedness. And so, so I just want to show you, if you want to, let's just look at Air Academy real quick. It's the top one. You can see it follows those exact 4 questions, and each facilitator did it a little bit different, but for the most part, they capture what the principal was saying. Some you'll see principal additional information, but you can go all the way to the back, and you can see on the back of the bottom of page 2, commendations, recommendations, and challenge thinkings. And I just want you to see the depth and breadth of which these parents, how thoughtful they are. Like it says here, the second bullet, 47% of students are choice students. About half of those students are coming from outside of D20. 87% of Eagle View students continue on to Air Academy. Air Academy works to ensure that students make a year's growth in a year's time. Teachers use data. These are commendations. If you go to the back of the second page, the second bullet, this was some feedback. How can Air Academy continue to help incoming students select and register for classes with the intent to commit to that class course so that the school can develop and solidify the master schedule earlier? Dr. Ripperger's approach to having staff share with unlike departments like math and PE was a creative and effective idea. Dr. Ripperger is transparent with staff about decisions and considers teachers' perspectives and data to inform decisions. And finally, how will you support students as the new building is being built? As you can imagine, they are talking about that a lot. As unexpected problems or issues arise, how will Air Academy ensure it is minimally disruptive to students? So that's pretty thoughtful and super supportive to a principal. And just so you all know, like the next step, so after our directors get them all cleaned up and submit them to our best friend Cheryl over here, who is also a huge help in helping us get organized. We could not do this without our board secretary.
Yes, thank goodness she loves packets.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Thank you. We send these to the school, and the PSSG is copied. The PSSG is the principal's supervision and support group. So we supervise the principals, and we'll sit down with our principal probably in February and talk about feedback from this, like what would be something that would be easy to do or something that you would like to explore further. We'll talk through this. And we do that with any of our accreditation processes. When we do UIPs, Jolene's team helps the principal and the school write the UIP, and then the PSSG does the final sign off on it. We do the same thing with site plans. We're looking at absolutes. So we're very involved with our principals through this work. And so then I won't go through the middle school or the elementary school, you can absolutely take a look at them, but just wanted you to kind of see the level of work that's done and the feedback that our outstanding parents share. So we're ready to answer any questions you all have.
Questions, anyone? Director Tripp.
Thank you for your presentation, and for those who haven't been a party to the flurry of questions that I've been sending to Superintendent Haber and also to Ms. Field about this topic. Just know they are very patient and have a heart of assistance in helping with this. As I have been looking at DAC, I just wanted to read the statute, the state statute that says what DAC is supposed to be doing as regards to accreditation. This is 22-11-302, CRS 22-11-302, Section B. It says the powers and duties are to advise the local school board concerning preparation of and annually submit to the local school board recommendations regarding the contents of a plan, whatever is required based on the school district's accreditation category. In advising and preparing the recommendations, the school district accountability committee shall make reasonable efforts to consult in a substantive manner with the school accountability committee of the school district and shall compile and submit to the local school board those plans submitted by the SAC committees pursuant to these sections. So I love that the work that DAC is doing to intersect with local schools and individual schools. I think that's really powerful and really important. And I definitely think the work is being done. What I am asking and am not seeing is advising and recommending to the board. I see a lot of things going to the principals, and apparently I can go and find them if I go to the DAC meeting notes, but that information did not come to the board and doesn't seem like it's coming to the board with the statute specificity that's listed. So based on the statute, I'm seeing a disconnect between what we're hearing from DAC and what this is asking. So I would love to hear from one or both of you or whatever, what your recommendations are based on the work that was done, what you would advise the board based on the work that was done, because I think information is there. I think more of it needs to be submitted to the board, but I would love to hear, again, advice and recommendations based on the work that was done as per the statute.
Sorry, I was conferring with my
Yeah.
superior. No. So something to think about. And coming in, I was sharing with Mrs. Payne yesterday. This is a hard time of year for the board to start. I was telling her that when I prepared for E11, I said, you're kind of coming in the middle of the game, that I've spent the whole fall building up information and educating the board and providing them with reports and information. So when I shared that, so I think that it's just a hard time of year because we've missed the first half of the game. So some of the things that I was just sharing with Dr. Field is that all of the UIPs are available and all the site plans. So when the state refers to plans, those are pieces that are out there. So they are stored electronically online in that DAC accreditation folder. And we can share those out individually if that would be helpful. The other piece is the principal template, so that the part that the principal wrote about their pieces is also stored in that document. So the principals, Cheryl and I were working down to the wire to get those to get those all submitted and in there. So I want you to know there's a lot of reference pieces that are out there that just you didn't get to live through the fall with us to experience some of those background pieces that build to this culminating process.
And I totally believe you.
Okay.
I'm not saying this work isn't being done or that information doesn't exist in some place. My understanding of the function of DAC is to act almost as a second set of eyes on accreditation, on budget, and with our community and our schools, so that administration gives us information about accreditation, which is fabulous. But DAC is also supposed to bring us information about accreditation as their own entity. So when it's coming from you, that's coming from administration, and it's awesome, right? And you do have this sort of overlapping role working with DAC as a facilitator, but they are also, as themselves, are supposed to be bringing us advice and recommendations. I don't know what that exactly should look like. That would be a great conversation to have with DAC. In other words, how can they support board if their purpose is to support the board, right? How can they do that with these different things rather than coming through you or in essence saying, well, go look at admin's report.
Right. And I think that the board, I'm sorry, Ms. Shandy, go ahead.
Raise my hand.
Okay, go, go for it.
We are in an educational setting, so Superintendent Haber.
So I'm wondering if the end of the year report, when we actually have the DAC representatives come here and share from your opinion, do you feel like that, and we usually, that happens in what, April, May, yeah.
May.
I was thinking toward the end of the year. Do you think that that encompasses what Director Tripp is asking for?
It
Thinking
could,
about what
absolutely.
the report is, like maybe there's something.
Right. I think the thing too, like the way I look at it is the schools are the ones who are doing the work. The principal leads the school, there's teachers in the school. And so our parents that serve on DAC and this particular activity, they're giving feedback to the principal because it's very specific to their school. And each school's report looks a little bit different, right? And so it's helpful for the principal to get the information because they're the ones that are leading the work. The way I see it is we're informing the board of the work that's being done in the schools based on the recommendations that parents are making based on this review. That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what you read doesn't specify how often.
No,
Right.
but the specificity is where is the feedback going? And the statute is indicating that the feedback is supposed to come to the board. I think it's great that they're giving feedback to principals.
Oh, yeah.
And having those conversations. Again, not dissing the work that the DAC does,
Right.
but again, trying to refocus and say the feedback is supposed to be coming to the board and support the board in the work that we do and the decisions that we make.
Right. I would say my perception has been that they are doing that collectively once a year in the report when they sit there and they give us that in May. And so it's a totality of what they have collected throughout that year that they give to us in May. And that has been my perception of the fulfillment of that requirement. If we want to change that where we would like a monthly update or something like that, we could definitely talk about that. But I think that's how in the past we have been proceeding with the fulfillment of that law.
Well, I really look forward to learning more about DAC and attending some of those meetings and seeing more about how this is fulfilled and watching for that advice and recommendations coming to the board and not just to those local community, local sites.
So in February, this is January, our February meeting, right, thank you. Our February
Happy New
meeting is going to be a focus on budget priorities that Ms. Allen and her subcommittee lead. And so it might be really helpful for you to come watch, and anybody's welcome on the board to come watch that. And they're back in the same feeder strands that they were for this structure when they were reviewing their site plan and UIP. And so it's a nice tie to, these are the things we're working on, to improve instruction and things in our school and where and how we're spending money. You want to add something, Becky?
Yes, ma'am. Just a glimpse at what that looks like. So the law requires that as part of the district accountability process, that each school comes together and they have a conversation about what their spending priority language that's used in the statute. And so that day, what happens is there's a facilitated conversation. The members of the DAC budget subcommittee sit in feeder groups with the principals. And parents who are not part of the subcommittee are welcome to join those discussions as well. And there's a series of questions that all of the principals ask about what their priorities are related to certain sections of the strategic plan, and also just facility needs, et cetera. And then I get all of that, all of the notes that are taken, and we look for high-level themes. So if one school said, I need a new window curtain, that might not make the final report that comes to the board because it's pretty voluminous report. And so we're looking for high level themes that come through, things that are, in most campuses, sometimes we'll have a one-off, like I said, and that may not make the final report because it's a synthesis of what was shared in terms of the spending priorities. And that way the board receives that in advance of the proposed budget in May. I always remind folks that we do not have enough money to meet all of the priorities, but nonetheless, they are put in the report.
Thank you.
So that's just kind of a high level just of what that looks like.
Thank you. Yeah, again, my point is about receiving recommendation from DAC to the board because DAC is a board committee.
And that report will come from the DAC. In fact, the co-chairs of the DAC budget subcommittee, they will be the ones there that present that report to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Director Payne.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, just to add my little comment in here, is I want to thank you for the hours we spent yesterday and over the time that I've been involved to see the exceptional leadership that you provided. And way back, I don't even want to say how many decades ago when I served on DAC, and seeing where it's come to and how you have done that. And what I think we can do, and I hear you, Director Tripp, is maybe as we look at where there's room for improvement or opportunities to improve and to make sure we're meeting our statutory obligation. Because right now what I see is it's flowing through staff to us, and there's both written reports and then there's verbal presentations in May, which I got to experience last May as not a board member, but just prior to becoming one. So I think that what we can do is thank you for being inquisitive and questioning and for all of that and you ladies responding, because we want to take your institutional and expertise to help make sure that we navigate this correctly. That's the goal I see as my role is now serving. I think I'm just now serving as something. The
DAC liaison.
Yes, the liaison to the DAC with the acronyms more than law enforcement itself. So if we could take this and work offline and give you that commitment to say, I know I'm excited you're going to come to our next meeting, but I also look forward to taking the time to say, hey, do we see room for opportunity for improvement and things that we can use them to provide us and maybe restructure a little bit the expectations of that group or where we might be able to get valuable feedback. That's just my summary. So thank you for asking the questions, responding to them. Happy New Year.
Absolutely.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
I don't think there's any other questions. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. Mr. Belcher, how many people have signed up to speak during comment section 1?
We have no speakers.
Okay. We need a motion to approve resolution 1726 mid-year budget update for the fiscal year 2025-2026.
I'll make the motion.
Yeah.
Second.
Discussion, please. Trust me, people. Trust me.
It's important that I confess I always get up too soon and sometimes get up when I wasn't even supposed to.
It's all right.
So thank you for your understanding. At least but I do know how to work on the budget at least, which is good news. So this evening, as we know, let's just talk a little bit about process and timeline. So a proposed budget for the upcoming school year has to be approved by the Board of Education by midnight on June 30th, right? 11:59 p.m. because we have to be ready with the new budget on July 1. Well, back when we do all that work in May and June on the budget, there's some key pieces we don't know the answers to. A huge one is our enrollment. Another big one is our actual per pupil revenue. How much are we definitely getting? Plus activity throughout the year that is unexpected. And so the state of Colorado gives us a chance to make adjustments to the budget, and they have to be done by the end of January. So every January, I present a mid-year adjusted budget that reflects, these variables that we took our best guesses on projections of students and other things. And of course, that reflect changes that may have happened in this first half of the year or changes we anticipate for the rest of the year. So that is the purpose of this. And again, nothing new. It's what will happen every January. So on that slide in front of you, I just show this as a high level, just so folks see that, gosh, our budget, when you look at the mid-year total appropriation, is just under $700 million. That's a lot of money, right? And some corporations don't have that type of budget. So we're a large organization and a lot of moving parts. The main part of our operational spending comes out of the general fund, which is at the very top right. There are also a variety of other funds that are specific to technology and to our bond redemption fund where we pay our bond bills, our building fund where we complete projects for the 2024 bond and what we just finished for 2016, etc. This evening, I will focus primarily on the general fund, although all of these funds are included in the document for the mid-year budget. So I'm going to just kind of walk you through some of the main pieces. So again, when we do our budget and give it to you in June is your final time to approve. We barely finished now. The fiscal year is June 30th. The budget is typically long approved at that time. Well, we don't even know at that time what's the actual ending fund balances. How much unspent funds did we have? So that's one of the big pieces, and this particular slide shows you that. Based on our audit, remember CLA came in and presented to you in November, then we have our audited ending fund balances from last fiscal year. They become the beginning then, fund balances for the new fiscal year. The big one that I would like to pull out and just kind of show is that one that is highlighted in blue at the very top section. It says adjust the unassigned operating reserve. This is called, I refer, the unassigned fund balance. This is our emergency reserve, if you will. Now, board policy states that our unassigned fund balance needs to have money in it, but not too much money. It needs to be between 4 and 12% of the total amount of money we spent the prior year. And we've got to stay within that window. It is important, as your CFO, that I tell you, my comfort level is in the double digits. That we don't need to be at 12, but 6, 7, 8, 9. Then our budget will decrease so much from the Pepto-Bismol that I will have, it's too tight. Remember that our state right now of Colorado is facing budget shortages. The last forecast that I have from the Legislative Council at the state level is from September, waiting for the results of the December one. Over $800 million shortfall next year. That could grow or decrease as we progress throughout the year. But to go to an 8 or 9, maybe in certain times would be acceptable. But now, in my opinion, is not the time to do that. So you will see in a few slides that we're in the upper 10% of that, just under 11%, which I feel is the right place to be in a time of economic uncertainty. You've even probably read about other school districts that are facing layoffs, that are facing deficits, and we want to keep ourselves not in that situation. We want a healthy budget that certainly does not show a deficit. So when you look at that 11 million, what is that referring to? That is referring to unspent funds from last year. We had budgeted to spend it all. We did not. That large blue box gives you the highlights of why. So how in the world? It's not that we found extra money or we had extra money laying around. It's important people know that. Unfortunately, that does not exist. What we have is more interest income than budgeted, almost $1 million. And that's just because right now interest rates are high and we get good return. The big one is unfilled positions, about $7.5 million, because we budget for every position to be filled every day that position runs. And that never happens. But remember, to be a conservative fiscal leader, you always, in my opinion, you overestimate your expenses, meaning, of course, no one's going to work but that's what we're going to plan on. And that's what we do. And our revenue, we forecast that to be conservative as well. Again, that's a healthy balance as a fiscal planner. The other piece was just about 2.8 million in less spending in other areas. It could be professional learning. It could be other things, curriculum, any of those pieces. But those are really what come together for that. Now, as I go through this presentation, I did receive some board questions. So where it makes sense, I'm going to integrate the answer to that. So one of the pieces, the question that I received was related to 2 lines above that blue one. Risk-related activity. That is a reserve that we keep for risk-related activity. What does that mean? The same things you have at your house. Oh no, the water heater broke. Oh, the refrigerator broke. For us, it could be hail damage, wind damage. It could be vandalism, water leaks, auto accidents with the district cars. If you recall, last year we had a wildfire on USAFA. It did not impede or cause damage at our schools. However, it did cause some damage that really is not noticeable to the eye except for soot. Some of the air filter cleaners, we needed to go ahead and we needed to do a deep cleaning. That was about $20,000. So it's for those unexpected pieces. In PE, the teacher is teaching and a student throws a ball and it cracks the screen on the screen. Those are risk-related activities. So those are the dollars that help us with those unexpected pieces. It's also always important for us to understand where our enrollment is going. Again, you have probably seen in the news, especially with some of these school districts that are talking about declining enrollment over time. And back in 1920, so the year when we had that budget, we didn't know what COVID was. So I call it the pre-COVID. We were at 26,603. Today, where we sit is at 26,471. I will tell you that's about a 0.5% decrease, and we're fortunate on that. That is an indicator when I look at other school districts and the types of long-term over multiple years of what they're experiencing in their enrollment. It is very affirming to me that parents want their students to be here. And it's a testament to the folks, to our Board of Education. It's a testament to our staff and our families that this is a destination that hasn't changed. But we have lower birth rates and we have more students since COVID who have chosen other pathways for their education that are outside of public education. And that's just a reality. But nonetheless, we have been in some decline. And we're projecting next year to probably have about another 0.5% decrease because just that's the situation we're in. Why is this so important? Because it ties directly to the revenue we receive. Per pupil revenue, it's an amount per student. When I go to this next slide, I just highlighted a few pieces of revenue on here, and there's something that I often get questioned about and that I've pointed out, and this slide illustrates it beautifully, so I like to go ahead and share it. Would you please do me a favor and focus on the 3 lines in green? They are purposely the same color because they go together. They have a star next to it, and that represents changes to what's called total program funding. It's the bucket. Remember my bucket presentation? It's the money we get from our local property taxes and our state. Remember, I've shared that people are shocked when they're paying additional property taxes and they say, where's all my money going? Why doesn't that bucket get bigger? And I explain how the state share goes down. I'd like to show you that in numbers. If you look at the very top line, see the 8.2 million that's in the green? That's our increase in taxes that we collected in District 20. Now, would you please go down to the 3rd green line? Do you see in parentheses the 7.5 million? That's the state share. So we brought in 8.2 million more, the state put in 7.5 million less. So I just think it's fascinating to actually see it in the numbers. It's nonsensical, but true. And then at the bottom, you just kind of see a summary of some of the variables I talked about. Please be reminded this year we're at 4-year averaging for the pupil count. Next year it will go to 3-year. And then I was just on a meeting with Case today. We'll see what happens after that. But averaging again takes some of the volatility of your change in enrollment out. Now, I had a question from a board member on this particular slide. It was specifically about gifted and talented. They said, if you look at the gifted and talented line, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 6th line up from the bottom in that chart. And you'll notice 444 in parentheses. That means the revenue went down by $444. And the question was, well, why would the money go down for gifted and talented? These dollars come from the state. They're based on the count. And so if we have 1 or 2 students less in gifted and talented, less money. But the follow-up question was, how can we possibly serve our students with gifted and talented and have the type of growth that we would expect off of what's a little over $200,000? We can't. So here's what we do. And this is the myth. Yes, we get money for gifted and talented students. We get this year $276,000. Last year, you know what we spent? Just under $4 million. Our general fund is carrying the load. ESL, because I just want you to know the magnitude. This year, we're expecting $247,000. Last year, we spent $1.76. This is the one that's the biggest shocker. Special education. Between federal and state dollars, it only comes, the total bill of what we spent last year was over $35 million. You know how much we spent at a general fund? Over $23 million. Federal put in $4 million, state put in 7.7. This is what is crushing school districts, that these dollars, we're not flush with money. That's why some school districts, all of us, look to mill levy overrides, look to bonds to try to supplement the dollars that we receive, because many of the services that we provide are either unfunded mandates or low funded mandates. And so it's important that that we have that background knowledge to understand the scale and importance of sometimes these other strategies to access dollars. The next one talks about some of our expenditure changes. In that yellowy one at the top is just our concurrent enrollment. You approved a resolution this evening. We have more students accessing the Pikes Peak tuition. There was a question about that as well in terms of sustainability of those costs. And I went ahead and we have some information from the College and Career Services. Let me just get my sheet here that talked about that. But they certainly shared that, yes, this model over the long term is not sustainable. However, What they are doing, we have a significant number of very talented educators in our teacher pool who are eligible and qualified to teach these as college courses. So we need, there is through College and Career Services, they will be having more of our current teachers teach these classes on campus. So kids don't even need to go to Pikes Peak State College. They can get the college credit, and they're not getting lesser teachers. These are top-notch teachers in very sophisticated areas related to certifications and different areas. So that is the plan, to really put more effort into shifting to make this more economically stable over time. One of the things that I also want to just point out, there are two lines in that bluish box toward the bottom. We are recommending in this mid-year budget about a $4.9 million, if you add up the 78,000 and the 4.8, to move to our capital reserve. That will help us accomplish other facility projects that we need at our schools. Another question that came in was related to the increase to the copier contract. That is 4 lines from the top. We had to increase that by 84,000. Our contract with Toshiba, they handle our copiers and our print shop, where teachers and staff can send their copier requests to a print shop here at the EAC, which helps with cost. For our schools, black and white copies are free. For color copies, we have increased that price a little bit. And the reason is that we've had a contract for 5 years. We just had a renewal, so the prices go up. Toner's more expensive, paper's more expensive. So we're paying about 84,000 more. And that 2 cent per color copy is helping to offset that increase. This is the summary page of where we stand with our mid-year budget. What I'd like you to please take a look at is that red box at the bottom. This is where we look at our unassigned fund balance. This is our emergency reserve. 4% and 12% are what we are allowed. Again, I would say I am not comfortable with anything less than 10%, and I think it should be on the higher end of that, knowing that we have uncertainties ahead at the state level. So you can see that with the budget that we've provided this evening, 10.89% is where that would sit. And this is my second to last slide. So as Superintendent Haberer mentioned earlier, our 2016 bond is closed. We've met all the projects and even more. Well, we still have some unspent funds in there. The main portion of the unspent funds are from some unspent interest income, and also some of the document scanning. There was over 2 million allocated to that project. We didn't need all of that to complete. So we have about $2.3 million that's there unspent. So it is our recommendation to move those dollars to the cap reserve for the following projects. And by the way, we have what's called a master planning group, and we meet quarterly. That master planning group includes myself and the rest of the members of cabinet, all of the PSSGs, folks from budget and finance, supervisors from the facility department, director for athletics and activities, college and career services, executive director for operations, a large group, and representing schools, representing all of the different facets of these key areas. So they were given a list of projects, and they give their seal of approval. They would like these dollars to go to these projects. The first one at Air Academy High School, they need more bleachers. They have no bleachers on the visitor side. When we think about projects in our district, we have 3 criteria: safety and compliance. So if that's an issue, that is a big priority for that project. Another one is parity. That means, is what this school has similar to what the other school has? Well, it's not similar on Air Academy's bleachers. And they also need better ramps for the ADA access. The third thing is we want to maximize our resources. We don't want to throw good money after bad. And so on those Air Academy High School bleachers, the principal will be thrilled. We'd like to invest $500,000 to put in additional bleachers there, ramps. It will seat 400. It'll still be on the home side, but they would be thrilled with that. The next one is the playground at International. The question when people say that that playground needs to be rebuilt, are there worse playgrounds is what I say, because it can't just be the loudest voice. No, this is the worst. Parents have shared concerns. Some of the parts are disintegrating and some of the parts are no longer able to be purchased. The PTO has already raised $50,000. They will be ecstatic to have a new playground. Next, the Liberty softball and baseball fields. And Shane, if you need to, feel free to chime in. Here's a parity issue and a safety issue. Those two fields, when it rains badly, you can't use the field. It's retaining the water. And they often have to go off site. If we have a dry spell, they're good. If it rains, they're not good. They have to drive by their school, get on a bus and go to another field. And it's becoming untenable for the community there and for the administration, the team, etc., morale. And so this 1 million would redo those fields. And finally, when you think about portables, we've talked a lot about portables this year. Some portables are not being used, yet we maintain them like they have students in there. It costs about $1,500 a year in just typical maintenance, but then you have bigger projects that surface, a new roof, all of that. We'd like to take $400,000 and that'll get rid of, allow us to remove about 12 to 14 portables. Now, I don't know about you, but I like Kohl's Cash. Okay, so I can look. I remember one time I wanted a carpet cleaner. It was $200. It was right at Thanksgiving. I was going to get $15 per $50 spent. I was getting the jackpot, $60 of Kohl's Cash. I feel like this vacuum was $140. Well, when you think about these portables, very similar. When we replace these portables, we're going to automatically save $21,000 for that year in just the $1,500 maintenance. But we have a series of projects, roof repairs that are due on some of these. Some have nice metal ramps that we can harvest and move elsewhere. We will save $135,000. So for a $400,000 investment, just a 1 year savings is over $150,000. So that's an example of not putting good money after bad. And I'm not even going into the future years. So this is something that we feel would be important. And for whatever dollar amounts that don't go to the actual movement of the portable, we have some budgeted. You have to do something to the ground when you pull them out. You can't just leave it. Rock or some type of, regeneration, some grass seed. So that's included in here as well. So that brings me to any questions you might have.
Director Waldrop.
Not so much about a question. I just want to say, Becky, I've been fortunate enough to see you go through this several times over the years, and really appreciate all the attention to detail you have on these things and what you do for the district. And I also want to say, by the amount of challenge we have with the funding, just what a testament it is to our teachers and the staff and administrators here, as well as our community, to be able to not take that as a sign of anything other than opportunity. So I just wanted to thank you for that.
I appreciate that, sir. I so agree with you. It's a point of pride. Because the success, to be accredited with distinction, one of the few school districts in the state since it happened, it's certainly not because of money. And so I so appreciate you calling that out. Thank you, sir.
Director Tripp.
Thank you, Becky, for answering, again, the flurry of questions that I sent and that you embedded into your report. I appreciate you answering those.
You're welcome.
There is one that it's not critical, but I am just very curious. One of the line items indicated that there was a $75,000 increase in unexpected grant or donation. I would love to know what that is and how we can do that again and more.
Well, typically each year we budget about 300,000. These are local grants. What I mean is they could be our Academy 20 Foundation grants that teachers get. That goes into that pot.
Okay.
Colorado Springs Health Foundation grants that we may get to support one of our initiatives. It could be something from Kaiser that they're giving each building $3,000 for a quiet room, which they have kind of a relaxation room. Earlier this year, we had one of our patrons through their church. This is the second year in a row they have donated over $7,500 to support our students experiencing homelessness. That is what that is representing. We have seen an uptick, so we moved from 300,000, we added another 75. That is what we anticipate bringing in, and that's the partnership. That's some of our stakeholders in the meetings that we meet. They come up and say, what could I do?
If you need a board member to show up somewhere and wave the little please donate flag for our district, I would be happy to accompany those things.
We'll take it. Thank you.
Vice President Payne.
I just want to concur. Thank you for all the details and the attention to this and like working through as we've had so many questions. But I really appreciate the attention to detail. And I really like personally the proactive effort to remove those portables. I know there's a cost to doing that and responsibility that we have to get them off site, but I think that's going to be a really healthy initiative. And the end, as an Air Academy parent, I just want to say, yes, we've needed those bleachers for years. So
all right.
I'm glad to see it
you.
benefit future
Thank you.
generations.
And I want to be very transparent. This won't put our portables to zero. These are portables that are really not being used. They may be being used, but we don't need them. It's something that we could go ahead and there are storage there, we get a Connex unit or we find space on the inside of the building. So it's not all portables, but it's the ones that we feel make the most sense to dispose of. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Roll call, please.
Vice President Payne,
Aye.
Director Tripp,
Aye.
Director Waldrop,
Aye.
President Shandy.
Aye. Mr. Belcher, how many people have signed up to speak during public comment section 2?
We have 4 speakers.
The board welcomes public comment on issues related to the operation and conduct of district schools in accordance with board governance policy GP 4.4. For members of the public who have registered a comment at tonight's meeting, the board will reserve 2 public comment sections. The first public comment section is one for individuals who are speaking on specific agenda items and ASD 20 students. ASD 20 students will be called first, after which individuals will be called in the order that they appear on the sign-up sheet. The second public comment section is for individuals who wish to speak on a general topic not on the agenda. Individuals will be called in the order that they appear on the sign-up sheet. Each individual speaker will be limited to 2 minutes of comment. Individual speakers may not cede their time to other speakers. Please keep in mind that students often attend board meetings. Speakers' remarks, therefore, should be suitable for an audience that includes kindergarten through 12th grade students. Out of respect for all speakers, please refrain from cheering, clapping, snapping, or speaking out during public comment. The board president will recognize each speaker and may interrupt, warn, or terminate a speaker's statement that is unrelated to the operations or conduct of the school district or disruptive to an orderly, civil, and productive meeting. Examples of comments that may be disruptive to an orderly, civil, and productive meeting include obscenities and profanities, comments that constitute harassment on the basis of one or more protected classes, or personal attacks against any individual that exceed permissible criticism of school operations or personnel in their professional capacity. Finally, as a reminder to all present, the board and staff generally do not respond to public comment. This is our opportunity to hear from students, parents, and patrons. The board may discuss public comments later in the agenda or on future agendas.
Our first speaker is Cynthia Halverson, followed by Brett Dayberry.
Thank you. In a recent legal case called Moms for Liberty versus Brevard Public Schools, the judge made the following statement. The content of books in school libraries is a matter of serious community interest. It would be difficult, if not impossible, for speakers to adequately air their concerns about a particular book without informing the school board and the community about what the book says. Describing the content of a book is not as potent as reading the words, nor is it as informative. And it is remarkable for the board to suggest that this speech can be prohibited in a school board meeting because it's inappropriate for children when it came directly from a book that is available to the children in their school library. Previously, we were denied this right, and for this reason, there will be a number of citizens who will read from books within D20 school libraries, with the purpose of being to demonstrate the truly vile and disgusting nature of many of those books in our libraries, and ultimately to initiate action being taken. Of note, not one single progressive has been elected to this board in the last 3 election cycles. We have had only conservatives elected, and yet we still have this filth within our libraries. It's long overdue for this situation to be addressed. It is now time for this latest iteration of board to stop acting as its predecessors have done, which unfortunately are sought with pure cowardice. Revelation 21:8, but the fearful, the unbelieving, the abominable, the murderers, the whoremongers, the sorcerers, the idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Ephesians 5:11, I have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. So be it done.
Our next commenter intends to read from a book labeled as young adult content and has followed the process outlined in GP 4.4 and the public comment sign-up form. The book is titled Almost Perfect and is located in Rampart High School's library. Before this comment begins, we want to allow students or those who do not wish to hear potentially adult or sensitive content the opportunity to turn off the stream or leave the room. Our next commenter is Brett Dayberry, and I'll give you a signal when we've waited about 30 seconds for those wishing to leave. Please note this applies to the next 2 comments for those who may want to step away for the next 4 minutes. Good to go.
I remind the board that it's been 7 months and counting since Susan Payne was appointed to this board without a change to the text to the ACA to require parental approval for the district to change the student's name. Yes, you heard that right. I'll also remind you, every member of this board campaigned on parental rights. How's that working out for us? I'll be reading from Almost Perfect again tonight. For those of you on the board who might feel that I cherry picked last time when I read these messages, I'll read as many additional messages as I can before my time runs out, which it will. Again, I ask, is D20 proud of this book? Fuck the world. Happy fucking New Year. I don't really give a shit. You're getting over a certain slut. She had a dick growing between her legs. The girl I liked had a penis. I kissed an ass pirate. If I hadn't been such a macho fuck. Fuck Logan. He takes drugs to make him grow tits. How long do I dare to date a girl who doesn't have a vagina? I'm not the one who pulled my dick out. I don't ever want to see you again, faggot. I was completely fucked. Don't ever call me that, asshole. What's the matter, pussy? You son of a bitch, I swear I'll fuck you up. I'm not into that shit. Picture Sage standing topless and damp in her room. I unzipped my pants. They don't actually remove my penis.
Your time is
They
up.
split
Thank
it.
you. Stay
Our
there.
next commenter is William Sawvell. who also intends to read from a book labeled as young adult content and has followed the process as outlined in GP 4.4 and the public comment sign-up form. The book is titled First to Die at the End and is located at libraries at Liberty, Pine Creek, Discovery Canyon Campus High School, Rampart, and Eagle View. Before this comment begins, a reminder to our audience that the comment may contain potentially adult or sensitive content.
I'd like to make a point to help illustrate the shady games that concerned parents have had to endure while trying to engage with ASD 20 administrators. The First to Die at the End is not only located at Liberty High School. If you check your records, it's also at DCC High School, Pine Creek, and Rampart. Yet the sign-up form on the ASD 20 website with its multiple restrictions and rationalizations allows you to select just one school at which this book is located. Additionally, while we go through this process, I will deliberately call out every claim from progressives who fight to share graphic sexual content with other people's children. In this case, the repeated lie here is that these books we're calling out are only in high schools. This book is also in Eagle View Middle School. Page 469. I flip Orion to the bed and he fakes concern over the unlit candle, but he's speechless when I lift off my shirt. His fingers trail down my collarbone and through my pecs and trace my abs before unbuttoning my pants. It's much smoother than me wrestling with his skinny jeans that clings to his legs for dear life. But once we're both fully naked, we stare at each other with the biggest smiles. Best day ever, I say. Best motherfucking day ever, says Orion. Then we move as the world could end in the next minute. He passes me a condom and I slide it on and slowly move inside him as it feels so good that I can't believe I'm only going to be able to experience this once. According to the ASD 20 website, the inclusion of YA literature in middle school library collections ensures the needs of all learners are met. So explain to us what needs are being met here. Are you trying to say children under the age of 14 should learn how they can slide it in and slowly move inside? Or is it the supposed lesson that the main character put on a condom before slowly caressing his penis in the rectum of another boy? Give me a break.
Our final commenter is Catherine Chukis. Ms. Chukis, are you in the room? That concludes our commenters.
Superintendent Haber, do you have any clarifications or next steps?
I do not.
Was our business this evening focused on activities that promote and honor our mission statement, our belief statements, and our global end statement that reminds us that all students will have the knowledge, skills, and character necessary for a successful transition to the next level and upon graduation will be fully prepared for success? Did the board hear information tonight that would require the review of or revision of a policy? Did the board hear information tonight that would require a new policy? Did the board hear information tonight that the board would like to include on a future agenda?
We'll get back to you on that one.
Okay. All right. Huh? All right. I did want to take a final just moment really fast to honor Mrs. Ruckman. Our incredible board secretary. Tonight is her final evening with us as she steps into a new season focused on serving her family. Mrs. Ruckman, thank you for your dedication, your professionalism, and your generosity of spirit. From navigating complex board operations, board elections, to the countless behind-the-scene hours, often after hours. Your steady presence and quiet acts of kindness have made a lasting impact on all of us. We are deeply grateful for your service and you will be truly missed, and we love you so very much. All right, with that, this meeting is adjourned.